Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for a highly requested video. It is reacting to, of course, my Premier League predictions for 2019-2020. The Premier League season is over. It's been a weird one really, hasn't it, to be honest? Like everything was going normal and then there was this little virus that came and it kind of wiped everything off in terms of football, and we didn't know if and when we were going to get our Premier League back. But it came back, and it came back with a vengeance. It was highly anticipated, and the end of the season has been absolutely incredible, despite obviously there being no fans in the stadium. What we're going to do today is I'm going to play back some of the footage, which is, I look a little bit different to say the least, and it was a very different time, but you know, going to play some of the stuff back. We're going to take a look at how I predicted the Premier League to be, and then we're going to compare it, of course, to the way that it finished. It's not necessarily going to be a review of the Premier League season. I will be doing something similar to that very soon. And I know that you guys keep saying 6 things we learned from the season. Well, if you guys hit the like button on today's video, I will try and get that one out for you soon. And I'm thinking like maybe we do it after the game against Bayern Munich, and then because we're going to beat Bayern 4-0, we'll then do it after we've won the Champions League. So I think maybe we'll wait until then, but hit the like button on today's video. Let's see if we can go for 7,500. And if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson football channel, I would love to ask for you to do so that you never miss a video. We've got an FA Cup final this weekend for Chelsea against Arsenal. Going to be doing some content in the build up to that. But without any further ado, let's just watch the start, shall we? Just to throw ourselves back to when GBFC was born.
These are my Premier League predictions. This is where I think every team is going to finish. At the time of recording, we've still got 5 hours to go until the transfer deadline has finished.
So obviously we'll start with the bottom of the table and then we'll work our way up to the top of the table. So in 20th place, 19th and 18th respectively this season in the Premier League, we have Norwich, we have Watford, and we have Bournemouth. Let's see what I had to say about those 3.
I've gone with Norwich. Again, I don't feel as though they've strengthened in enough areas. I think they're going to play some very exciting football at times. I think there could be a few shock results with Norwich this season. I think they could beat some of the big boys, but I think they're going to get battered.
So obviously Norwich came bottom of the table. I said they'd come 19th, so they finished 1 place lower than what I predicted. As for Watford, I didn't think Watford were going to get relegated this season. It's been a bit of a catastrophe on all accounts from Watford, really. In terms of the playing personnel, they've never really looked that good at all, apart from when Liverpool came there and they ruined that unbeaten record with a huge victory at Vicarage Road.
Starting with 11th place Watford, I think Watford are a team again who could kind of be challengers.
I said that Watford would finish 11th, so this is one of the major, you know, there's a word that I don't want to say here because then I'll get demonetized, beginning with F. One of the major F-ups, really, here on the channel was saying that Watford would come 11th. I got that wrong by 8 places. So there's also Bournemouth. I also got that one wrong.
I think Bournemouth could struggle. I think they've done very well since they got promoted into the Premier League. It's still one of the best success stories.
I didn't think they would go down. I thought that the way that Eddie Howe has established Bournemouth as a Premier League club, yes, there's always been these games where they do get heavily beaten. Do they pick up enough points against the teams around them? Maybe not, but this season they kind of come unstuck. And I know that if the Hawkeye technology and everything was working in the Aston Villa Sheffield United game, they're launching an appeal. I don't think anything's going to happen now retrospectively, but technically speaking, by the laws of the game, and we've had VAR introduced this season, which has completely changed the dynamic of what's right, what's wrong. Yes, there is still a lot of debate, and I think the reason VAR hasn't been an overriding success is because the flipping brains and the brain cells of the people operating it aren't necessarily up to the level of the technology. So, Bournemouth were relegated and they were actually 5 places lower than what I predicted. So in terms of GBFC and getting it correct, it's not the greatest start, but we move into 17th place in the Premier League table. Of course, surviving on the final day, and I'm happy about this because obviously John Terry's on the coaching staff. Aston Villa.
Aston Villa have spent a ton of money again. They've bought in over 10 players. That isn't necessarily going to guarantee them success.
So I said that Aston Villa would finish 14th. They finished 17th, so I got that wrong by 3 places. But then we move into 16th in the table, West Ham United. Now, again, at the start of this season, and as often with West Ham,
but I think West Ham are going to be tough to beat this season. I think that they're going to score a lot of goals. I think they've got some very good attacking players.
I look at their squad and I think, you know what, this team could do quite well. And obviously, since they've moved to the Olympic Stadium, I feel as though the club's kind of lost something about it. West Ham were always a club that were big rivals. They had Upton Park. It was a small yet compact stadium where they made a lot of noise. There seems to have been a lot of the energy sucked out of West Ham. I'm not a West Ham fan, so I don't want to speak for West Ham fans, but something doesn't seem right about West Ham. They shouldn't always be flirting with relegation the way that they did this season. I said that they'd come 9th in the Premier League. They ended up 16th, so I got that one wrong by 7. So far, in the bottom 5, I've not got a single one correct. But we move into Brighton, who I genuinely thought Brighton were going down. I didn't know where the goals were going to come from, which I thought was going to be the biggest issue for them. Brighton, obviously, they finished in 15th place. I said that they finished in 18th. My housemate's just arrived. And I think it's been a very, very good season for Brighton. Since Graham Potter's come in, he's kind of steadied the ship. He's brought a calmness to the club. Maupay was a good signing. Trossard was also a very good signing. But at the start of the season, I didn't think Brighton would survive. They proved me wrong, and they finished in 15th. Now, moving into the real mid-table teams, Crystal Palace. I thought they were going to have a struggling season. They've kept hold of Wilfried Zaha again. Whether he's going to leave this summer or not, there's talks that he might be on his way to Everton. So Crystal Palace, if they do lose their talisman, next year, unless they reinvest heavily in this team, they might struggle. Obviously, Palace finished 14th. I said they'd finish 16th. It wasn't that close, but it's kind of close, only 2 places off. Crystal Palace in 14th. And then we've got Newcastle United, who finished in 13th place in the table. Not the best start to the season, but what Steve Bruce has done at Newcastle is an incredible job. And I thought that Newcastle would come 15th. They finished 2 places higher, so again, kind of close in the mid-table, borderline relegation battle. But things are looking bright at Newcastle. There's currently a bit of an issue regarding the takeover. Newcastle were being bought by billionaires and everyone's talking about Mbappe signing for the Geordies. There's issues at the moment, and I think a lot of that is down to how much ownership and control the new buyers are going to have of the football club. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it too much, but Newcastle, things are looking bright at that club, and hopefully for their fans, because they're a club I respect very highly, hopefully Newcastle can get bought out and then start challenging, not for the Champions League, because that would give me heart attacks, but for the Europa League. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
7th, I've given to Everton. I think that the signing of Keane from Juventus is a crazy sale from Juventus because he's young.
I thought Everton were going to do much better this season, obviously. I thought that they were going to be challenging towards the top 6. I thought they'd come 7th, but again, it's been a big letdown this season for Everton. They've spent a lot of money and underperformed massively. They've got one of the best managers in world football over the past 15-20 years. Carlo Ancelotti is the Everton manager, and you can bet your bottom dollar, I haven't said that here on the GBFC channel for a while, smack the like button for that one, you can bet your bottom dollar that Everton are going to be looking to spend this summer in order to invest in this squad, get rid of some of the deadwood players that are currently hiking up the wage bill that aren't offering anything to the club. 12th place for Everton isn't good enough. They're a team that have ambitions. They've always had ambitions to be trying to attain the Champions League. We've seen that Ancelotti's come out and said that he wants Everton to be challenging for the Premier League. So from 12th, they're going to have to do a lot of work considering all the other teams above that are also strengthening. I got that one wrong by 5 places, and then we move into the closest one yet. In 11th place this season, Southampton. There were times this season where Southampton looked absolutely doomed. The way that they recovered, Danny Ings scoring all of these goals this season. What an amazing season it's been. Danny Ings is kind of one of those players who goes under the radar. Everyone talks about your Aubameyangs, your Harry Kanes, your Salahs, your Manes, your Martials, and even your Tammy Abrahams at times this season. But Danny Ings has been absolutely phenomenal for Southampton, and he's the main reason why they finished the season so strongly. They're in 11th place. I thought they'd come 12th, so got that one very close indeed. And then we move into the top half of the table, and Burnley, I'm going to put myself under the bus here. I did you an injustice.
So as with many of my Premier League predictions this season, it was a bit of a coins toss between like heads or tails, who do I think is going to finish one place above the other, and in 17th place, just missing out on relegation, I've gone with Burnley. They've kind of been deteriorating slightly.
So I thought Burnley would come 17th, and yet again, Sean Dyche, every single year, this man deserves so much praise for the job that he's done at Burnley. I remember going up to Turf Moor earlier in the season when Christian Pulisic scored that wonderful hat-trick in a 4-2 victory, and I thought, you know what, things could go downhill from here for Burnley, but they finished in 10th place. It was only towards the end of the season, obviously they lost the last game. It could have been even higher. It was an incredible season for Burnley, and this is another one where you have to eat a slice of humble pie. Got this one incredibly wrong. 7 places above where I thought they'd finish. I thought they'd survive, but only just. And we move into, well, this is the biggest screw up of the season from me, really, isn't it? And again, I said it at the start. I'll play it for you now. I'm sorry. I apologise, you know. I didn't give Sheffield United.
So bottom of the table, sadly, and not seeing a second season consecutively in the Premier League is Sheffield United. I just don't think they've brought in enough quality to be able to stay up. I may have thought their kit was Champions League standard, but sadly, they can't get points for how good their kit is. So Sheffield United are bottom of the table.
Anywhere near enough time of day, as I should have done. It's been a masterclass of a season from Chris Wilder. If Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool didn't win the Prem for the first time, and they were breathtaking throughout the majority of the season, petered away towards the end, but I mean, come on, they deserve the celebration. So Chris Wilder's job at Sheffield United was incredible. They finished 9th, 11 places higher than what I thought at the start of the season. They got some great results against the big boys. Tactically, they brought a style of football that we've not necessarily seen, these overlapping centre-backs, and the cohesion of the way the Sheffield United team play has been a credit to their manager, credit to their fans and their city. 9th place in the Premier League, and I think they might even try to build upon that for next season. Moving into the team that finished in 8th, and this one, it's beautiful. I said they'd finish 5th. Arsenal, it's their worst Premier League season in, well, yeah, it's awful really, isn't it, Arsenal fans? You can't be happy going into this FA Cup final. Yes, you know, Unai Emery, good evening. It wasn't the most ideal scenario, and he was sacked in December. Mikel Arteta comes in. Has it really got that much better? I don't, it's got a little bit better. You can see the vision, you can see where it's going to go if the right investments are made, but Arsenal fans cannot be happy at all with what's happened, and if they try and justify it, then, well, come on. So Arsenal finish in 8th, 3 places below where I said they'd finish in 5th. We've then got another team who have excelled beyond a lot of expectations this season. I said that Wolves would have a good season. I said they'd finish in 10th, and I remember a lot of people said that it was a little bit too optimistic from me for Wolves, but
I've got a sneaky suspicion we could be seeing Wolves in the latter stages of the Europa League this season. I don't know why, I just think they've got a good manager, and they've got a good system that could work quite well in Europe. So I'm going to make a bold statement and say that Wolves are going to finish 10th, which would be a very good season if they manage to make it all the way to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, which is a bold prediction I'm making right now.
They've exceeded exactly what I predicted. They finished in 7th in the Premier League. Yes, they were beaten by Chelsea to miss out on Europa League on the final day, but we had a lot to play for in that match, as we will see as we progress into the top 6. Wolves have been absolutely fantastic. The job that Nuno Espirito Santo has done is very, very good. They've got a good little Portuguese knit community in there. They've got some very good players. They've got a very strong team. And even though Chelsea did the double over them, Wolves have been very difficult to beat this season. They've not lost many matches, and they finished 3 places higher than where I put them in 10th. Now, the good news about the team that finished in 6th is not only is it Spurs, it's also Mourinho, and it's also one that I'm so glad that I got wrong. I said that Spurs would finish in 3rd. I actually predicted that they'd finish ahead of Chelsea because transfer ban, losing Eden Hazard, the uncertainty about the tactics of Super Frank. But lo and behold, yet again, there is only one team in London on top. Spurs finish 6th. The way that Mourinho celebrates that point away at Palace on the final day, it's a story of the times and how things have changed. Jose Mourinho's Tottenham, I didn't expect that at the beginning of the season. Pochettino is out, Jose comes in, they finish in 6th, and really, did it improve that much? Not really, let's be honest, and I think Spurs are going to have a problem maybe to even keep hold of some of their top players this summer without Champions League. Harry Kane's getting older. I think that there will be a conversation had about him this summer with maybe a move to United. I don't know. Let me know if you're a United fan and you want Harry Kane at your club in the comments down below. Spurs finish in 6th, 3 places lower than what I said in 3rd. And we move into Leicester City, who miss out on the Champions League on the final day. The way that Leicester started this season throughout the majority of the first sort of 2/3 was excellent. Coronavirus came in and it was not good for Leicester. They kind of fell away. They didn't win enough matches. They were losing too many games, dropping points against relegation fodder, and it wasn't good enough. Leicester City in the end miss out. And I said, when I looked at my predictions and then I looked at the restart and how I thought things were going to go, I actually predicted that Leicester would drop out of the top 4. I didn't think they'd have the experience, didn't think they'd necessarily have the quality in the depth in that team, and they've ended up coming unstuck, losing at home to United on the final day of the season. I said that Leicester would come 8th, so they've still exceeded my early beginning of the season expectations, but it's 5th place for Leicester, and we move into the first team that I got correct. And of course, it's our boys Chelsea. At the beginning of the season,
which means the top 4 sits kindly for Chelsea in 4th. I've gone with the beloved Blues in 4th place. As I said in my interview, ironically, with David Luiz, Chelsea are always looking to try and win the title. It's the ambition at the start of the season, whether it is a realistic expectation upon the shoulders of the manager.
I came into it with unblinding optimism. It's the nature of what GBFC is. I always think Chelsea are going to do what a lot of people don't think we're going to do. And at the start of the season, I came out and said that I believe in this young team. I saw enough in pre-season. I believe in Super Frank Lampard and what Chelsea are going to be doing behind the scenes with the coaching staff. I knew that we'd finish in the top 4. We're the biggest club in London, we're the best football club in London, and we know how to win. We've got an FA Cup final this weekend, and boy, if we win the FA Cup, finishing 4th in the Premier League, regardless of what happens, even though we'll beat Bayern, it's okay, don't worry, I will keep going and saying that until the moment we lose. This is an incredible season from Chelsea, and I think that a lot of people at the beginning of the season looked at what Frank Lampard had. We looked at the inexperience within the side, and they said, top 6, that would be incredible. Let alone that, Super Frank has got Champions League football. He's been able to now invest heavily in this squad to move forward, to make Chelsea go from 4th up into the upper echelon tier of the Premier League. We're very, very close already, and we're about to get even closer. Havertz is almost done. Werner's signed. Ziyech has signed. We've got defensive players that we're looking to bring in and strengthen as well as the young players that are nowhere near the peaks of their careers. They're just bound to improve as well. So the first one that I get correct is, of course, Chelsea. Then in 3rd, Manchester United. Now, I want to give credit to United. Until the FA Cup semi-final, which of course they lost, they did very well against Chelsea this season. And I think under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there were times where United fans were turning. I think a lot of neutrals in football looked at it and thought, this man is way out of his depth. Since signing Bruno Fernandes, and I know a lot of people think that he's overrated, but I also think a lot of that is jealousy. He's a brilliant footballer. And the way that he's revolutionised United since January, with the goals, with the assists, and the way that he's enabled them to change their play style, has seen United rocket up the table. They finish in 3rd, ahead of Chelsea, and they actually finished 3 places higher than I thought. So credit to Manchester United. They're going to be a force again next season. They've got some big transfer targets. If they manage to push it over the line, they're going to be joining Chelsea in the title contention battle next season. And we move up again into 2nd place in the table, Manchester City. Now, I'm not going to play back what I said about City because for the last couple of seasons, I've been saying that Liverpool are going to win the league. So, as you can see on the screen, at the beginning of the season, I predicted Liverpool in 1st and City in 2nd. And this is why I thought Liverpool were going to win it.
I said it last year, I got it wrong. I'm going to say the same again. I think Liverpool, despite not strengthening that much over the summer, despite Manchester City strengthening again, I think Liverpool are going to win the Premier League this season. They've not won the Premier League. I said it last year, and they could not have done any more, realistically, to overhaul Manchester City. We're talking about a Manchester City team that are one of the best, if not arguably the best Premier League team there's ever been. There's just something about Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool that it pains me to say it as a Chelsea fan. It's kind of, if you're a Liverpool fan, it's almost a thing of beauty in a sense because your manager literally loves your club as much as the fans do.
And of course, win it is what they did. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, 99 points, bringing a first ever Premier League title to Anfield. I think it's been a long time coming. I think since he came in, he's made super steady progress, and towards the last couple of seasons, Champions League holders. Now they're the Premier League holders as well. This is a glory era for Liverpool Football Club, and I just hope that next season we can kind of cut that era short with Super Frankie Lampard's Chelsea coming in and bringing the trophy back to where it belongs, inside the Stamford Bridge cabinet. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed taking a look back at my Premier League predictions. We've gone through it in a bit of detail. I've thrown in some little clips from what I said at the beginning of the season. As with anything, it's a prediction. You know, I know that I only got 3 of the positions right in the whole flipping table, and it was near the top, and it's often easier to predict the top of the table, but I will be doing this again for next season, of course, when we know which teams are coming up from the Championship, once we've seen what happens in the transfer window. But one thing I do know, and I know that we're all Chelsea fans here, or the majority of us are, Chelsea in 4th, nada. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to GBFC if you're new around here and haven't already. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this little throwback video today. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Those links are in the description. If you want to join the Discord server, it's $1 per month. And it's an easy way to support the channel here on GBFC. Get involved with that. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.